So if women start making this financial decision, it brings them so much of a confidence. Think about it that their body language change, the way they look at themselves, it change, and they just feel they bring this confidence within themselves because they be like, I'm looking at my 401k, I'm looking at my bank accounts, I am looking at how the monies are going and coming in. I am sitting at the same table where I'm bringing the equal amount and I'm equally involved with my.
Hey Smita, welcome so much to our Fearless podcast series. This is season 2, and we are so happy for you to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate.
So, tell me about yourself, like just about you. What is Smita?
Yeah, so I am a nurse by profession. So in my 9 to 5 job, I'm a director at a pharma company, top 500 pharma company. I mainly work for oncology patients. So when I say, people always have this question, what nurse is doing in a pharmaceutical company? So what we do is that you heard about a lot of people these days getting cancer. So the pharmaceutical company makes chemotherapy, and that's where I come in the back end, where we look at patients data and to see how our drug can help these patients. And once they start taking our drug, what are the side effects that they have? And FDA's, when it comes to patients and safety, FDA is also involved. So, looking at the patient data, looking at their safety, and looking at our pharmaceutical label, our oncology chemotherapy label, and working with the FDA. That's where my main role come in 9 to 5 job. And apart from there, I'm also passionate about South Asian or immigrant women, to teach them, empower them about stock market and investment, how they can start their investment journey with a proper guidance. So I'm an investment coach as well.
Wow, that is very interesting because what you have said that like you are full time like a director in the pharma company, but you are also a finance coach. Before diving more into your financial coach aspect and your professional journey, if you can share more about your personal side of who is Smita, what define you, that be interesting.
Yeah, so I'm a mom. I'm a mom to my 7 years old daughter, and what defines me is myself being able to help and educate this woman. So I always, when I went to schooling and all of that, I went for a medical school, and then I dropped out because of a family incident. So I dropped out after 1 years of going into medical school, and after that I went to a nursing school. I thought I would, bedside nursing. I wanted to continue my touch with the patients, and that's where I found myself that I could be, when I started educating this patients and being healthy and being able to take care of themselves. That's when I found that, hey, I could also be more into a teaching aspect, educating people. And I always had this stock market where I wanted to learn more about it, and that's when I started handling my 401k. I built a $500,000 portfolio on my with my 401k account. So that's when I was just like, I always had that woman side of me. Women are not taking responsibility into a stock market. Why are they not investing? So that's me. Like, I always looked myself being different from other people. When I talk about when I started talking about stock market, all these friends that I have, they were like, oh Smita, are you really doing stock market? Are you, how are you doing it? This is more of like a man thing to do, right? Because you will always see men doing stock market, men talking about women. So I was like the odd girl in my friend circle who would talk about stock markets, and I was just like, I don't know, I just find this fascinating. I like to look at charts, I like to learn how people make money into a stock market, and that's how I got myself into it. I took many courses to learn about stock markets, and then when I saw that, hey, a lot of these women are not doing it, so that's when I decided to start my own business to teach women about it. So I feel like, as in a personality, who I am, I'm more of a just more cheerful person, but then I want to have fun, but at the same time I feel like I'm a very responsible woman who wants to handle her own money with a great responsibility.
I think a very interesting thing you mentioned about, like, not many women are very much into like investment, stock, and handling their own finances.
Yeah.
So, what is the key that you understood that this is very important for women to take their own financial like responsibilities?
So your question is asking, when did I saw that women should also be part of this, right, conversation?
Yeah.
These days, when we look at it, we all make six figure money. Okay, everybody makes this six figure income from 9 to 5 job. Women are also working at the same title and the same table as men, right? So it's always was very fascinating for me when I talk to my friends, I talk to my family members, and whenever I bring this topic of investment, or even investment could be investment into a stock market, investment into real estate, investment into a business, anything, right? That time only I see men talking. I never saw a woman talking, right? So, and that's what, I always like, am I the odd one? Why am I the only one talking here, right? And that's when I always ask, and when I talk to their 9 to 5 job, they are also at manager position, product managers, even manager at store. And I was just like, when it comes to investing, why are you guys not talking? And they were like, it's always, it's either done by the husband or the brother or the father, right? And I was just like, okay, but why are you afraid of learning about stock market or even investing into stock markets? They said, and these I'm talking about my friends, they were like, oh, I just don't understand stock market, or I just don't know how to buy a stock, as simple as that, right? I don't know where would I buy this stock. So that's the main thing that came to me when I talked to them. And they were like, okay, I'd be like, okay, you don't know how to buy stock, and that's fine, because I was in the same boat as them, where I was not aware how to make my own investment decision until I took many courses. So that's what it inspired me, that if a woman can bring equal amount of money as men, then why are we not sitting at the same table as them when it comes to making investment decision, right? So that's what inspired me to teach women more about investment. Yeah.
Like, say, like talking through this women, what is that, like, you, as you mentioned, a lot of women are in that, like, like some of them are earning well, even have, like, in their career they are doing well, but what is it about finances that they are still not taking their own responsibilities, even though they are earning and getting that, like, bringing that pay?
Yes, so as I spoke with 50 plus women, this is I'm talking about 3 years ago. The first main common thing that they said when it comes to an investment is says that it has to do with the money, right? The moment it comes to make a decision about money, women back out. They'll be like, oh my God, I'm not sure if I'm going to make the right decision, because it's, let's say, 100K or 50K money right here we are talking about, right? And then they think that they're just not going to make the right decision when it comes to investment. The second is that they have a fear of losing money. Before even they invest, they have lost their money. They'll be like, I'm not sure, Smita, if I'm going to invest, what if I lose money? So I think people have always seen stock market as losing money. I guess there are more people in stock market where they talk about, oh, I lost money here, I lost money there. But I don't think so. There are a lot of people talk about how they made money in the stock market, how they have like $1 million, $2 million portfolio in stock market, over this last 10 years, right? So when it comes to women, of course, they are afraid of losing money. That's the one thing. There is a lack of knowledge that they have, right? So if you think about it, none of us, including myself, we never learned about investing either in a middle school or in a high school. So everybody has this lack of knowledge of how do we start our investment. School here or even in India, they don't teach you which investment account you need to open in order to invest, right? You don't know, do you go to the bank, do you open it through the website? So like this simple thing, lack of knowledge, it's the big one that people don't know, women don't know specifically, that where would you open this account, right? And then third thing would be, be like, I spoke with my husband or I spoke with my father, and the sudden be like, oh, you don't want to get into a stock market, right? That's like the pause right there. It's very complicated, you want to understand, and you will lose the money. So those are like three things that I've I've seen when it comes to women about investing, I hear this all the time, be like, oh, I'll lose my money, I don't even know where to start. And they were pushed by the male figure saying that I don't think so you would be able to handle this.
So now, like since you are coaching women to be like, handle their own finances, what is the shift that you are observing from the women that they are not doing versus now they are starting having their own, handling their own money basically,
Yeah.
like investing? What is that shift you have observed?
Yeah, so for all the women that I have, when they come to me, they would say, Smita, I don't know where to start, but I found you on Instagram. So that's why I'm here. But I do know that I want to learn about investment, and I want to know, how can I invest my money safely, right? So once they reach to me, shift after going through this 10 weeks, 15 weeks programs that I have, into a second third week they would talk about like, now I know exactly what you're talking about, now I have my account open, and now I can see that why I should be investing into this particular company versus the other companies, right? So they have this, I would say I've seen tremendous amount of mindset shift where they went from, I don't know if I can invest, or I don't know if I will lose my money, to, I see that, I gained $1,000 over these 3 months, or oh wow, I made the correct decision after using the knowledge and the tools that we, acquired in this course. So it's amazing to see that if woman gives time, invest in themselves, right, then we can make better decision than a man when it comes to investment. Because we when it comes to investment, you have to be very patient, okay? And women by I think it's a magic power that we have. We are very patient, right? We handle so many things, and we are so patient that we can utilize the skill of being patient when it comes to, and that's the number one thing that you need, is being patient and not going after the higher stock price. And when it comes on an opportunity to invest, we take the opportunity and invest. So I've seen a lot of women shifting their mindset about the investment because now they have the knowledge to do so. Now they do know where to go when it comes to investment. It's a very simple step. We all know how to use computer these days, okay? We operate Facebook, we operate Instagram. I feel like investment is in the same boat where you click few buttons, you buy, right? So I was seeing women taking the action and investing, looking into their 4K. That's amazing. Before taking my course, they'd be like, I don't know, I don't even know username and password for my 4K. So our first step would be, why don't you figure that out? Because you work in a corporate, you definitely have a 401k. So once they have that, they'd be like, oh, I didn't know that, I was investing, and now how do I find where my monies are going, right? So once you start looking, all of this question comes because you are investing $400 $500 per paycheck. You need to know where these monies are going. So now they are more eager to learn about it. Hey, I'm investing this 400 500 by paycheck, that's $1,000 a month. I need to know where I'm putting these monies. And once they see that 401k account, they'll be like, oh, now I understand. Because up until now I was thinking I was not investing, but actually I am. And now I need to make the right decision that, by default company will pick certain ETFs, but once you have the knowledge, you want to know you have the correct ETF. So I think the shift in the mindset and healthy relationship with the money, that's what I'm seeing, when women invest in themselves. Yeah.
Very interestingly, you mentioned when you are sharing about, like, agree, like, shifting that mindset is the big, like, the key. But many women, they don't even know where are their money invested, what
Yeah.
are the accounts they should either go or they have already. And it's very important to have that understanding and knowledge of your own money, right? Because I think as women we are very much aware about like what our like family doing, like whatever, like emotionally we are very intact of like understanding other people's need. But coming to the money, there is some friction, there is always there with the women, that that's not something that they have to handle or take responsibility. So
Exactly.
starting to understand like where your money is, or your like at least like existing account, is very like key to get that step ahead. But one thing, since we are talking about, like, like there are three things which, like fear, lack of knowledge, and then support. When you share that, like, you want to get into this, right, like being a finance coach, but you had that journey of, like, you were learning on your own, exploring, and then you got into, like, like different courses to educate yourself. How was your family's reaction to that?
Yeah, so just like every other parents, they were like, the moment I said, and I'm talking about this 2010, 11. So, when I started doing my white collar job, um, I see this 401k account, like everybody, like, they were like, these are your benefits, this is your 401k. The first thing I was just like, I don't know what 401k is, right? I don't know what I'm doing with that. So I spoke with my dad and I was just like, what is this 401k? Can you tell me, like, am I supposed to put this something in there? And he just like, well, I know nothing about it, right? I don't know what 401k is, because he owned businesses, so he never, and we all migrated together, right? So in the family, nobody knew anything about 401. So obviously you go talk to your HR, you talk to your manager, be like, I'm not understanding this whole 401k, would you like help me? So I spoke with HR and they'd be like, oh, these are the money you invest, and this is like a stock market you invest, and this is where the whole question started. I go back to my dad and I was just like, these are the money I invest in a stock market. And he's just like, stock market, you need to stay away from this, because this is where exactly where everybody lose their money. He probably had a very bad experience with stock market in India, where he did lost the money, right? So he's just like, you have to be very careful where you're putting the money. You don't have to invest. You could just get all the paycheck right into your saving account and just work, things like that. And I was just like, no, this does not sound right based on what HR is explaining to me and my 401k people, the advisor, when you. So I did later dig in, and even my mom was very much be like, oh, you don't want to put your money, if you have extra money, go ahead and buy the gold, right? So I was just like, okay, I see that everybody's telling me not to invest, and that was my initial reaction from my parents to be like, do not invest, you will lose the money, so and so. And that's why when 2008 crash happened, I don't think so anybody invested, and I still regret until this days, because I was making money that time. I would have invested if I knew better, right? So but I did not listen to my dad, obviously, and I went took a courses just to understand where my monies are going, how I'm going to be investing. And when I looked at my portfolio over 3 years, 4 years down the road, I did went back to him and I showed him my investment account and I said, look, this is where I'm putting my money and it is growing. And I explained him, like, he's very mathematical person, my dad is, so he's just like, okay, let's see the return and all of that. And the 401k, all of your ETFs and market has been up since then, right? So he looked at, he's just like, okay, now it makes sense, right? So then as I learned, I did kept him in the loop, like, hey, look, there are Apple company, Costco company, this and that. So he also learned from me as well, and now right now he's also investing, right? So it was initial reaction like, don't go, you lose your money, whatnot. So but then as you showed him, as I showed him, these are the tools and this is how I'm making my decision, and I'm you've seen the result with my portfolio, so I think it's working. And he just like, since then he's also investing, he's also invested himself for last 7 years. So he's just like, okay, makes sense. So you just need someone to break that ice, right, in your family. It's not that everybody lose money into a stock market, it's just that you have to make a knowledgeable decision, and you need to have the right tool in order to make this kind of decision. So of course, and even when I started this business, a lot of people did brought up this point, be like, do you think women will invest, right? And my instinct was that I don't know if women will come to me to learn or not, but I know for sure that my why is that I do want to make them aware about this investment, right? So maybe not this generation, but the next generation, I'm sure people will invest. So that was my, I was just like, I'm gonna go ahead and start. It doesn't matter who's saying no, but inside of me, I was just like, I'm doing the right thing here.
No, that's amazing, because as we are talking about, right, that's something which all the women are doesn't understand of how. First, like, they don't know where to go, so you are providing that, like, via your, like, as being a finance coach, that platform to coach women about investment, finances, etc. But as you mentioned, right, like stock market is always up and down. And when you're like starting initially, you might have like, also have that journey of going up and down. As you are learning, you might have done some mistakes, you might have lost some money. Tell me about that journey. What was that experience, and then how you go beyond like that experience if it is not.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there are many ups and downs, right? In the stock market overall, if you see there is a like a chart, if you like goes up and then it comes down, goes up and as I learned through my journey, these are healthy correction. These are healthy correction that market needs it. Something cannot just go up for so long. Certain things needs to come down so that other people can also have an opportunity, right? So I learned that throughout this year. And mistakes that I made, I'm going to be honest here, I have made mistakes, and that's the mistake I learned from. There are so many WhatsApp group, right, that you heard about. All the men's are on it. Be like, oh, there is a stock market investment group, there is this kind of group. I'm not, if you like, husband or brother, they'll be like, oh, I'm getting this tip from this particular WhatsApp group, they are telling me to invest, and I go ahead and buy. So in 7 years 8 years ago, when the GME stock was going, I also took the same tip from one of the WhatsApp group where I don't know all of these people, had nothing to do with it, and I bought that particular stock based on someone tip. Be like, oh, this stock is gonna go through the roof and everybody gonna be rich, whatever, right? And I took that tip, and I invested without doing my own research, right? I was not that good at it 10 years back. So I invested. I made initial $13,000 in 2 days. Okay, that stock. And I was very amazed. I was just like, oh my God. I can swing trade this and I can make $13,000. This is great. Everybody likes money. So I again invested the following week with the same tip. And that time, oh my God, no, I lost about $7,000 to $8,000 in overnight. And that's when I was just like, I'm definitely doing something wrong here. When someone gives me a tip, doesn't mean I just take it and run with it. No, you have to do a proper research on which stock you are investing, and certain stocks could go up upward side in a few days, but then they also come down in a few days. One advice, and I have a few of my clients who came to me, they be like, oh, same story, okay, that, oh, I was part of this WhatsApp group and they told me to invest. Now I invested and now my monies are stuck, right? Can you help me to help me to make sure that I don't lose that much money, right? So we go back and analyze some of these stocks. So yes, in my early life I have made mistakes where I took someone else's tip without thinking, and my monies were stuck. And then I think I learned a very good lesson from that not to rely on some other advice, instead to do your own research. Yeah.
But like, have that through those learnings, have that a time where you were, this is not for me, I should not be like moving further, like, was there a time where you were feeling to stop doing this because it's a lot of like, it's
Yeah,
your money.
no, so there are no, so there are two types of investment, right? There is a 401k account, which is your long-term investment, where the you invest by weekly or by monthly, right? Which is doesn't matter, you just keep investing because it's called dollar cost averaging. So if you look at your 401k account and if you start working 10, 15 years ago, you always gonna see so much amount of gain because market has been up 30, 40%, right? So over there, nothing. I was very happy to look at that. I was just like $500,000 portfolio, amazing, right? In this 10. So I must be doing something right there. But then when it comes to individual stocks like swing trading, penny stock, where people are buying, when I say penny stock, anything below $50, right? So those are where they're trying to make quick gain, right? So those are the things that be like, okay, if I'm gonna swing trade, then I'm not gonna swing trade some of the penny stocks. I'm gonna swing trade a growth stock. So I change my strategy of how I make money with the swing trading. But 401k account, it's always been an up horizon because of the market has been up.
So what you're saying is, say whenever you hit, you change your strategy, like learn from that and change your strategy and still keep moving.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that there are two types of investment. There is a long-term investment and there is a short-term investment. When I say short-term investment, people try to buy and sell quickly, right? They would buy, let's say if I buy Apple today, and then I would sell it in 3-4 months, right? So the way I change my strategy, instead of going after AMC, GME stock, I now learned from my experience that it's better if I want to make quick money, then it's better for me to go with the growth company like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and that way I could also make the money. So end of the day, yes, your goal is to make money, but you have to pick a strategy where you are taking the least risk, right? So that's the thing. At the end of the day, you will make the money, but you just have to change your approach. Yeah.
And what is this about, like, investment and stock market is you are very much passionate about? Like, what is it that keeps your passion moving?
Yeah, so as I coach more and more women, right, and the conversation I have with my client, and it's just so nice to see a mom opening an investment account for 3 months old baby. Like that, it's something. Now think about if my mom had opened an account when I was 3 months old baby, right? So I was just like, I am making a change in a society little by little, right? And these are, I'm talking about all these Indian women, right, who first thought I am afraid to invest into a stock market, but now uh, through their learning and correct knowledge, they be like, okay, I think this is a good idea for me to put $30 a week for my 3 months old daughter now, so that she can have, when she turns 18, she has saved up for her education, right? So that's what makes me going, be like, hey, look, this 3 months old baby doesn't know me now, but one day her mom gonna mention it to her that, this money because I took this particular course or I met Smita. And then the other client, when client come and tell me like, now I have something more to talk to my husband other than household and things like that, because now I'm speaking financial language with my husband, because my husband is like, so what are you learning in the course, like, what stock did you invest in, did you look into my 401k account, right? So I'm seeing this shift in the conversation here, right, where husbands are also supporting their wife, be like, hey, I have a very hectic coding or data manager or whatever engineer job or software developer, right, where husbands are always busy working 9 to 8. So the husband, now they are saying that, hey, look, I don't have enough knowledge to teach you stock market because I migrated from India. Indian stock market is different than here. You have time, why don't you learn this, and why don't you invest, why don't you also handle my 401k, why don't you invest for our kid? So I see that shift in our community, which is huge, right? Telling my dad going from, hey, you're gonna lose all your money, to now I say it's working, right? So that's what keeps me going, that if there are enough people, enough women, right, saying that now I also invest, now I also invest, now I look into my 401k, I want my bonus to go to right into a Roth IRA account instead of me bringing the whole check and paying so much on my interest, so much on taxes, so I'm seeing this conversation, these women are bringing to me, and I was just like, oh my god, yes, yes, you guys are speaking investor language, that instead of taking the entire paycheck at home, paying 30% on your check, why don't you invest something, right? Your retirement is also secure, right? By age of 60, you can look at your retirement account and be like, okay, I think I can pause my working 9 to 5 job, or even at age 50, right? If you invested beforehand, at age 50 you can be like, now I can take a pause, because I think I have invested enough. This investment portfolio will be just fine for me to, leave my 9 to 5 job. Yeah. So
That's awesome. And why you feel that like a woman needs to have that understanding of finances or investment? Why you feel that? What is the need, or like what help them? Like what it does to the woman in
yeah,
today's.
I think, yeah. So I feel like if women start making this financial decision, it brings them so much of a confidence. Think about it, that I think their body language change, the way they look at themselves it change, and they just feel they bring this confidence within themselves, because they be like, I'm looking at my 401k, I'm looking at my bank accounts, I am looking at how the monies are going and coming in, I am sitting at the same table where I'm bringing the equal amount, and I'm equally involved with my husband to make this investment decision, right? And that's equality. I think women are these days, I'm not saying they are smarter than men, but we are sitting at the same table. Like all the leadership that we see, like all the I'm more into finance, pharma company, but all the CEO that we see, I see more women than men. Like even nurses, there are more women than, like all the doctors. So if we can get, if we are equally, if we can be as equally educated as men when it comes to finance, I think we are there, right? It's just that we are not talking about it. But if we start talking about money and how to make money decision, I think woman is going to take a lead on their finances. Yeah.
So with like talking about investment, finances, taking control over on their own finances is what first is giving confidence for them,
Yeah, a lot of confidence. Yeah.
and then maybe like gaining their own responsibility of finances give their authority as well that they can do it, and then slowly they can build their own, like,
Yeah, so they could also, it just doesn't have, like, man shouldn't be taking all the burden, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just not
right.
man job to build a house, or provide for their kids, or it's just these days women are not just staying in the kitchen and taking care of the things at home. I think the tables has turned, right? Where women are working, and they are working as equal as men, they are making equal money as men. And I've seen a lot of men where they would come home and help their wife to cook dinner. So there is a change in a society, there is a shift in society. So if you want to see the equal shift, then we should also be equally responsible when it comes to making financial decision. We should be helping the man, right? We should be in the same boat, like that, hey, I'm also earning money, right? Why don't I take these expenses? Why don't we share expenses? If we are sharing expenses, why don't we also share our investment and wealth decision, right? So that's what I see, men and women sitting at the same table having same conversation. Yeah.
That is very interesting. It's like more of being that equal partner,
Yeah,
right? In
exactly.
all the aspects, and not just in one. I like that understanding of you, like what you're
Yeah,
bringing.
and men's are trusting women these days, right? All of my clients, they're female, and I hear from them that, my husband is trusting me to make this decision. He was very happy that I made $3,000, $4,000 last month. He's like, you're doing it right. So that also, I think gives them a clarity that, I can also do this, right? And I think that it's building a healthy relationship with them as well, right? As a couple, you have a healthy relationship about the money, right? So that way, I think it's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Say like a women, I mean, when like, anybody starting might not have that much money, like, because investment in stock is really risky. So how a woman maybe not have enough, like, money to invest or start, where they can go at the very beginning, right? And I know like there might be many women who are doing like handling their own household, might be single mom, how they can do about, can navigate through their financial independence.
Yeah, exactly. And I get this question a lot when I go through my, would be like, I feel like Costco stock is $1,000. I don't have that much money to begin my investment, right? When you say, because not every a financial situation is not same for everybody, right? So we have to take that for sure. But what you guys, like, what we don't know is that there are ETFs, exchange traded fund, in Vanguards and Fidelity. There are less than $100 a share, right? So these are good ETF. And that's the thing when it comes to, right, that don't think that investment is only for healthy people, not healthy, rich people, right? Don't think that, because there are amazing ETFs out there which are 39, 49, 50, less than $100, and you guys can invest as well, right? So it's just about taking an action, opening an account, and start investing, finding what is suits best for your financial situation, right? So a mom that who opened for 3 months old, right? She just like, I cannot put $500 a month for this baby, and which is right. $500 a month, it's a lot of investment, right? When you have to pay a house bill, grocery, all of that, nobody has that kind of extra money laying around, right? So the alternative that we are going is that we are not saying $500, it's a $30 a week. So think about it, $30 a week. How are we spending $30 a week? That's not, everybody can do that, right? We spend $30 going to a restaurant, right? That's like, if two people go, it's a $50 bill right there. I think every weekend everybody's going out to eat. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, everybody's out on the weekend to eat. So, and that's where she agrees. She's just like, oh, I see that, I need to start now, start with the small amount, so that way I'm acquiring this compounding interest, and that is like staying longer in the stock market, right? Staying longer to make more profit, right? So yes, the main misunderstanding about investment is that I need to be rich in order to invest is absolutely a myth, because you could start with as little as $100 a month and you could still build your portfolio, right? So yeah, everybody can invest.
That is so interesting, right? Like to invest, you need money, but you can start very small. So just having that mindset of saving rather than spending and starting early so that like you have enough like time to like, utilize the power of compounding.
Yes.
And I believe I think I also was very much like interested in like taking my own finances, handling my own finances. And what you did, I also started that the way only,
Yeah.
because like it's first you don't know where to go, and then because now there are a lot of app that is has made us our like like education which on like quicker clicks,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
that we can utilize those platforms and like start like just from the little research of like good ETFs to like invest, and then you can start. So that's interesting.
That's true. Like social media is amazing, right? If we use it the right way, I think you can gain so much knowledge. Because some of my followers, they send me a message and they said, "Oh, based on your tip, I invested into XYAMD, and now I made this much money," right? So it's just, I'm so nice to, because sometimes I have a very busy lifestyle, so I'll be like, is anybody watching there, right? But then I get all of these messages, but like, thank you so much for this tip because I invested into Apple. And I was just like, okay, this one girl, she started her traditional IRA account just from using my reel, right? So I was just like, oh my god, right? People are watching this and people are taking an action which is going to be helpful for them, right? So I like that, nowadays, education and knowledge is available to all of us via Instagram and Facebook. So it's nice.
And how you are managing and handling two different world right now?
Yeah, so yeah, and that is a good question, and I get this. Be like, how can you do this, right? So, yeah, so I have a very busy 9 to 5 job. I'm a director in a pharma, so I have a busy schedule, and the way I do my calls is I do it around the evening times, right? So I put my daughter to her eye level. So my daughter, she goes to class every single day from 4 to 5 or 5 to 6, and that's when I block that 1 hour to do my one-on-one coaching. Yeah. So I put her to a class and then I do coaching. And then during the summertime, when she doesn't have class, I do a group coaching session, right? So I work around her schedule and I try to do it that way. Yeah.
How is being a mom, and what is one thing that you're gonna, I believe you have a daughter,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So what is something that you're gonna share your wisdom or pass it to your daughter about everything?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna pass my day trading skill to her. And I talk to her all the time. She looks at my computer and she's just like, Mama, what are all these reds and green color and graphs? You looking at stock market? And I was just like, honey, you're gonna learn this the moment you turn 14. I'm gonna give you this there is a stimulation paper fake money account that you can open for your kids, and they can learn to trade, right? And then when they turn 18, they can go ahead and do that. So I was just like, I wish my dad had told me, but since I have this skill, I'm going to pass it down to you, right? And I seen One time when I was traveling, I seen a 14 years old at the hotel reading charts on a stock market and doing the day trading. I was surprised, and I asked him, I was just like, "What are you doing?" And he's just like, "My dad opened me an account, and I'm practicing this for the summertime when I'm off." So I'm definitely gonna pass my investment knowledge that she needs to start investing the moment she gets her first paycheck. I don't care if she invests $50, but invest. So that's what she's gonna do. Yeah.
I really like your passion for like making this more accessible and like creating that more educational to like start early so that everybody
Exactly.
can like get advantage of it. And like just to understand like about you more, what do you do when you like maybe like you have this downtime or when you are feeling like struggle or challenges, what is your personal routine during that time?
Yeah. So when I with a busy lifestyle, I was just like, oh, how am I going to manage all of this, right? Like, should I stop my Instagram business, or should I leave my 9 to 5 job, or should I, what do I do? So what I do, is just I go back and look at my client again stories. I look at their messages, and I was just like, there is no way I could stop this, because I've seen that people are learning from this. I've seen they changing their life, right? Be like, oh, I gain, think about it, extra $3,000 a month somebody's making from day trading. That could a lot for somebody's, a $3,000 a month can do a lot for you. So I was just like, yeah, even if I post less, that's fine, but I need to continue my journey, because I started with the vision in my mind that I would, empower this woman to learn about investment. And now I'm seeing that it's making change, right? I've touched 100 plus women. They are all looking at their 4K. Some of them, they send me a screenshot. They, the moment be like, oh, we switched this last year, look at how much I have gained, right? So I'm just like, yes, I need to continue this journey. I know it's going to take, something out of me, but I love it. I love it that women are being top of their finances, and that's all I wanted. And I was just like, nice, I'm going to continue. Yeah.
Honestly, Smita, like talking with you, I have learned a lot about like just a mindset of like what it goes when you are like starting your investment or like taking that financial responsibilities. But just like a quick like a kind of a fire question to you to understand the cheerful side of you. What is one thing that you do that like when you have this full day, hectic day to wind up?
Yeah, so one thing I do watch a lot of Netflix. So I watch Suits, I watch that, I don't know, How I Met Your Mother. So I go back and watch it again. Friends, I watch it again. I do watch a lot of the Indian drama as well. Then I have my friends. I live in a great community where I have all of my friends living next to me. So I go out on a walk with them, and I was just like, oh, do you want to do girls' night out? So girls' night outs are my best thing. That cheers me up so much. So I'm very blessed to have the friends that I have in my life, because whenever I have that Friday night downtime, I'm like, oh, do you want to grab a drink, or like go to Riverside Pizza and talk about something, right? So it's just nice to have a friends in your life who can just be like, come to you whenever you call, be like, do you want to go for a walk or something? Yeah.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. And what is that one thing that you like to do with your daughter?
Yeah, we do a lot of vacation. So with my daughter, yeah, so even today we are flying to Europe and London. So one thing she and me both enjoy is traveling. So we love to travel. Like, she's a very foodie person. So even if I don't want to go out on Friday or Saturday for dinner out, she would like literally take me, be like, Mama, can we try this restaurant, because this has 5-star review? And I was just like, sure, why not? Let's go try it, right? If she was not there in my life, I would be eating bhakri and chai every day. I'm like that bored. But she's like, she keeps me, and she makes sure that, that she's going to drag me everywhere. She'd be like, oh, let's go out. And, once a week, we eat out Friday and Saturday 2 times. We go try different restaurants, and then every 3 to 4 months, we take vacation. So that could be domestic or international.
Awesome. Oh, wow. I would like to know more about your vacation after you come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then last thing, like, if you want to like share anything, any message to the women's and younger women's out there, just a last nugget on.
Yeah, I would say knowledge is very powerful. So if you invest in yourself, it's going to pay you 100 times more. Like, do not just rely on your 9 to 5 job. Like everybody does 9 to 5 job, okay? You need to look for other source of income as well. So go ahead and invest in yourself, because if you invest in yourself, you're going to see a greater return.
Thank you so much, Smita. It's really pleasure you like having you on this platform on our pet podcast series. And well, we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.